Daniela, and I am the SolidWorks and SolidWorks PDM SME for SPK and Associates. Today I'll be going over PDM permissions. These can be pretty cumbersome to set up at first, but we'll go through some of the ones that I most frequently assign and some use cases where I would recommend using these permissions. Of course, this may or may not be applicable to you and your organization, so I always recommend going through these and really picking out the ones that seem relevant to your needs. But these are the ones that we've seen particularly useful for our clients. First of all will be add or rename file and add or rename folder. These are pretty essential, especially for your engineering users. Adding or renaming a folder is up to your discretion. Many organizations have a strict folder structure and don't really like new folders being created outside of that. Others don't feel similarly, so it's really up to you there. Checkout file. Of course, this one is also very essential when you are working within the vault. Can't get much editing done without this one. The nice thing is that you can tailor this to a particular folder. As you can see here, I am inside the user menu for the admin user. Just as an example, if you are setting these permissions, I highly suggest creating groups. For example, your engineering group, your document services group, your read-only group, because then you simply assign a user to these groups. You don't have to manually assign these permissions for each user. It's just much more efficient. So I highly recommend creating groups, assigning permissions to these groups. The great thing about PDM is if you need to ever make edits, if you need to revoke access, grant new access, at the group level, it's very easy to do so, and it will apply to all the users within that group. As I will continue here, we also have read file contents, very much essential, especially for your engineers, document control, your read-only group. They will want this permission. It's a pretty standard permission. And again, the nice thing with PDM is that you can get creative and restrict this if you wish. If you don't want your document services group to see files that are in a work in progress folder, for example, you simply do not check this box for that folder. Finally, show working versions of files. This was a great one for your creators. It will really let them see files before they are released, and it really solves a lot of the I can't see this file in this folder, what's wrong with my permissions questions that I get. So this is one that I've seen often be required. So I do recommend taking a look at it, and I'll try to speed things up here. There's quite a bit to PDM permissions, but trying to keep this a bit of a short intro. I did want to touch upon state permissions and transition permissions. So you can set up your folder permissions, however, please take a look at your state and transitions as well. For example, if an engineer has access to the work in progress folder, but a file in there is at the review stage, they may not be able to check it out. Even though they have checkout rights for that folder, if the file is at a state they do not have checkout rights on, they will be blocked. So that is something to consider. Go through all these permissions here, assign them accordingly. Similarly, you'll have transitions. Make sure that your users can transition the files that they need to. This one's a little less cumbersome, and it very much depends on your workflow and how you want to structure those permissions. But definitely recommend making everybody adhere to a group structure so that if you're granting document services users the ability to release files, it goes for all of your doc services users uniformly. So again, you'll want to set up groups for your key users. You'll want to set up some rudimentary file permissions. And for your workflow, you'll want to make sure that these user groups have the correct state and transition permissions. Again, these can be set here in the user or group menu, but you can also open up your workflow and add permissions there as well. For more SolidWorks tricks and tips, please stay tuned.